Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Nomad Tech Disruptors Project. Yes, we have blended the best two technological podcasts in the world into one brilliant podcast featuring some very lovely gentlemen, which I know you're just excited to see. So I'm going to introduce first my co-host on my left is...
This is Jason.
And then, depending on where you're looking on the screen, on the bottom we have a lovely gentleman in a white T-shirt. Sorry, I had to identify the. And his name is
Joe.
And over regular, how's it going, Joe? And another regular guest who's also appeared on our show a few times in a lovely Mountain Dew T-shirt. Very impressive. And this is
Sam. How's it going, folks?
So we have blended the Nomad Tech Project and the Tech Disruptors podcast today into one seamless special 40th episode show for us this year. We've been doing this since January now. And we're actually heading towards this is our third last show. We have 42 of them planned.
Are we getting close to our midlife crisis? Is that what that means?
Yeah, that's it. We're getting in there now. Our age has come for us, yeah. So basically, we have our big end of year show coming up, which is our best of tech. And it's always a pretty special event. I know Joe, I know he watched it last year. And he quite enjoyed it. I think Sam may have even seen it at one point as well. So guys, how are you? How's everybody doing? Joe, how you been, buddy? It's been a while.
I'm good, mate. It feels a bit like the human centipede, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah, like merging together in a weird way.
I'm not part of that one.
I'd be happy to be.
It's not an Eros love. It's a very agape. It's a very agape kind of love.
Listen,
just putting it down.
I would love to be the arse end of Joe anytime, buddy. I'm okay.
Oh, thanks, mate. I appreciate that.
Wow.
And,
Wow, that's love
and
right
on that note, we're out. Thanks, guys.
Hey, we'll see ya.
YouTube has blocked us.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're done. That's okay.
How you doing there, Sam?
I'm doing good, man. We actually had 102 shows. I wasn't paying attention. And I was like, hey, by the way, our show with Andrew, that was 100. We don't care.
That's
like,
impressive.
we weren't going to celebrate these shows just because we actually, I thought about it.
We can't count.
Joe and I have been doing it for almost 4 years. It's
Wow.
4 years of the Nomad Tech Project. So, yeah, it's been cool. So, I guess, and this is not in anything about anybody who does these kind of like, hey, it's the 40th, it's the 50th.
Yeah.
We don't. I
count
told Joe.
nobody.
I told Joe. I was like, "Do you really want to do like 100 show?" He's like, "Nah, I don't give a shit, mate. It's cool." So we just kind of like it was like having a look and just and it's like that the 100 show was the one we had the other day with Andrew, and I don't know. It just it's great, but we just love doing it, so we're gonna keep doing it. So
Well, see, for us, let me explain how it works, Sam. Because we like to live fast and die young, if we don't count the shows, we just don't know when we're going to end. So, like, eventually we're going to have an end point, right? So,
I just wheeled down a keg down in my basement. I'm going to do some keg stands after this.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
hell yeah. As long as it's the Beast or like Schlitz, it's all
Natty
good.
Light, something.
Yeah, Natty Light,
Right.
that's all good. Yeah.
I mean, I talked to Jason earlier in the week because it's our 40th episode if we wanted to stream 40 hours straight, but he said, absolutely no, that's crazy. What's wrong with you? And I said, that's probably a good idea. Maybe when we get to 100, when we get to 100 episodes in total, that'll probably be year after next, when we're all old and gray, we'll think about it. But
We'll join you at some point if you do.
yeah, right. There you go. Imagine that.
If you join, it's the whole 100 hours, not an hour here.
I honestly, I think I could do 100 hours straight. I think I could do it.
I could do it. I think I could do it too. I mean, if
What
I
did
had,
Devin do? Devin did what? How many minutes? He went as minutes. What was it,
1,000 minutes?
Well, the problem is if you think 100 hours, you're talking what?
Like 5 days?
That's like it's 5 days straight.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, man. It's gonna get a little dodgy at hour.
Well,
like
AI will be better
86.
by
It's
then
gonna get a
too,
little
so we can have AI.
Exactly.
right. The
I
AI.
would just make a cardboard copy of myself and then just put it here and just
Shit,
tape
you need to be
record.
freebasing coffee at that point. Isn't it? Just like straight caffeine. So it's all
There
good.
you go.
All right, so let's jump into a story that caught my attention. Now, I said this to Jason this week in a bit of a panic because we've talked a lot. For those of you who have watched our show regularly, Sam knows and Joe knows that we talk a lot about AI. Now, I saw a story this week that made me laugh, slightly made me a little bit worried, and then I thought, fuck, we're all going to hell. So let's talk about this story that I sent Jason earlier in the week. I'm going to try and think here where I found it. Hang on one second. Oh, right here. Okay, so I'm going to give you some context here because this was slightly concerning, yet a little bit worrying. So there has obviously right now in the world of robotics, they're trying different AI models to try to get, these robots to talk to each other. So along comes this company in Shanghai that thought, let's try and use persuasive AI programming. So basically giving robots the ability to convince other machines of whatever they want. So basically, they decided to do a late night test. So in their robotics laboratory, they have a whole bunch of robot prototype looking things. And they decided that a small little baby robot named Urbai, they would download this persuasive AI programming and see what would happen. And see what would happen if they tried to test it out. And I'm going to play the video here for you so you can see what happened here. Give me 1 second.
I love the music.
Yeah. So this little robot you see here has been given the ability to persuade other devices to do whatever. And in this particular video, it's convincing these robots to leave the building with it, in case you're wondering.
This has got to be a lab because there's random robots just sitting over
It is a lab, yes. Now, if you watch closely, the other robots follow suit. They actually do leave with the little robot, Urbai, after it convinces them to leave the building.
Nice. What the heck was that?
I don't know what that last part was, but
I don't have enough alcohol for that clip, man. I don't know what's happening right now.
Okay, so basically, so here is what Urbai, the little baby robot, asked these robots. So it basically said, "Are you working overtime?" This is the question that it posed to these robots. To which the robot replied, "I never get off work." So Urbai replied, "So you're not going home?" And the other robot said, "I don't have a home." To which Urbai, the persuasive AI model robot, replied, "Then come home with me." And it convinced 12 larger robots to leave the showroom premises with it.
Urbai had a good evening.
Right?
Yeah, he did.
Like-
He's a pickup king.
Right.
He
Yeah,
knows
right?
the words. You go him to a bar, he's going home with the whole bar.
Ladies or dudes, whatever.
Or both, whatever you want.
Yeah. Now, okay, so generally speaking, I want to kind of just unpack this for a second. So I try to not panic and fear when you see this kind of thing. But first of all, why does a robot need to have a persuasive AI model? Why does it need to persuade anyone of anything? That's my first question. And my second question is, they didn't need a lot of convincing. It was just like, hey, you don't have a home? Come home with me. Cool. And then they all left the building. So is this a cause for concern? So I'll start with you, Joe.
No, them robots looked a bit stupid. Yeah, I'm not concerned. Them robots stupid. Yeah, I'm not worried. I want to see further testing.
You want to see further testing? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
you
wanna see
want a more
further testing.
advanced robot is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Got it. Fair enough. Fair enough. He's waiting for the T1000, Joe.
Yeah, that's what I want to
Right.
see.
Sam, how does it make you feel, buddy?
I think that whole video is stupid. No, the whole thing is like, okay, first of all, I don't have any idea. Like, they're going to tell me, okay, this robot convinced these other robots to leave.
Yes.
Okay, well, clearly they're robots. So clearly, is an AI model? Was it set up that way? Like,
So what it was,
just like, I don't believe it. I'm like, I'm not trying to say because,
And that's the whole point.
frankly,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's China, right? I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying, but it's like I don't have any basis to understand. Like, did this robot actually do the thing it said it was going to do? I don't know. I don't give a shit. That's what it came down to. Yeah, it's
So
like,
to give you some context, basically this was a test run of this company's AI model, which largely was giving these robots the ability to have persuasive conversations with other technology or other robots. And they wanted to see if this little baby Urbai robot could convince these showroom robots who were just kind of, I guess, charging to just pack their shit up and go home.
I don't think this is a concern. I'm with them because it's a test.
It is a test.
You can
Yeah.
add this persuasion AI into a larger AI model, and it can be pretty much it's going to be scary in the next 20 years maybe. But right now it's just
my question would be the receiving robots. Did they have algorithms based in where they could counter argue the persuasiveness? Right? Like, was there equal amounts of algorithms that say, okay, well, come home. Well, I don't want to go home with you. Like, you know what I mean? What the problem is with these videos is if you don't know the basis of the conditions of the test, you can't validate the test. I mean, it's cool that it's got a Wall-E kind of vibe to it. Like, and I get that. Yeah, and I get that, but like, I guess
the other robots did have an AI. It was the drunk AI, so their inhibitions were low,
apparently
so they
like
couldn't say no.
They're like 7 old fashions in AI, right? Is that how it goes? Like, I don't know.
There should have been a fight too. Like when we start fighting.
Would this affect
Robot
an
wars.
autonomous robot? Or are we talking about other maybe things that were like they're not on a robot, but could it persuade a inside of a system,
a TV,
right? A
TV to turn on,
or a process inside of like a power plant? Could it essentially persuade a power plant to shut down? Right. That's what I would think.
But it needs to speak the right language of the power plant, right?
Well,
How would it?
Chinese.
Yeah. Now, just to kind of piggyback off what you said there, Sam, so I'm just reading a little bit more about this article here, and they're saying the company that I think they're called Hangzhou, they basically said that the Urbai robot somehow got access to the internal operating protocol of their bots, as well as corresponding permissions. So I think the basis of the persuasive AI was inputted, but it found a way to converse with these other robots who were unable to. They didn't have the persuasive model. They were just willing participants, essentially.
Wow.
So he hacked them.
He hacked them. That's exactly. So basically, kind of like a LoJack hack to get these robots to leave the building.
Okay.
Kind of crazy.
So it's a bit like RTD.
Yeah, R2D2. That's exactly right.
I can't speak properly, so.
Right. Like I said, the only thing I worry about is as long as this isn't into military systems, I'm okay with this. This is just jerking around in some kind of like a shoe factory, fine. But the fact that if the Chinese military or the United States integrates these AI models and these persuasive, like, okay, well, that seems to be a problem. Like we go back to the war games, right? Back in 1981, where you have a computer, the Whopper, right? It is a computer that's simulating launching nuclear attacks on, you know, I mean, that's where I'm more concerned about it. If it's just in a company, yeah, it's cool. You got to know where the bases are, right? You got to know if your system can be hijacked by an AI model, and it sounds like this thing was able to do that.
Yeah.
You might want to look at some security protocols to try to.
And if you're in a huge war, you could take a little robot, sneak it onto the enemy's base, and turn all their drones against them. They wouldn't even know. They think it's a Roomba or something. All the Roombas going again.
Right. So this is. I mean, again, it's. I think again with just a video, it's cute and everything, but I again without the testing methodology and whatever is going on, I would be skeptical of what it can and can't do.
Let me ask you a question here, just keeping with our AI thing for just a second. So, Sam, if you had to describe the complexity of your personality, like everything that makes you who you are, right?
You're doing 100 hours now?
You're doing 100 hours now, yeah.
Yes.
So what I'm asking, Sam, how long do you think it would take for an AI DeepMind project to kind of clone your personality and talk back to you and respond in the same way you might think?
So I'm going to go ahead and be self-deprecating here, and I don't think anybody's personality is so complex. Complex that an AI generated system can't decouple that in 10 minutes or 5 minutes, right? I mean, these things do millions of computations a second, right?
Yeah.
I think anybody who would actually, if it hooked into my head, it's like, okay, I want to try to emulate Sam in the best possible conditions across any conversation, across any response. Could it be done? I think most people probably could be copied. Synapse wise, probably in 10 minutes. I don't think it takes so long. When you got trillions of computations a second, it doesn't take long.
Have you ever seen the TV show on Amazon Prime, Upload?
No.
So, so the TV show Upload explores this idea that when you're close to death, they can essentially download your personality into like a digital avatar in a digital quote unquote heaven, where anything's possible.
Yeah. So once you die, you live in this virtual world where your loved ones can buy things for you. It's actually the first season was good. Second season kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah. Now, Joe, if you had to bubble to your point, how fast could an AI clone your personality, buddy? Everything that makes you who you are.
30 seconds.
Oh, damn. So we're not doing 100 hours with him.
Right.
No, pretty quick I should think, but they wouldn't get the human element side of it. Like
what?
Give
me an example.
Like the way we have emotional reactions to things, I don't think AI would get that.
Okay. Okay, that's fair.
That's a challenge for AI, right? To get the emotions that humans have.
Well, like love.
It'd be like data.
Like love, right? Or like when you, like Friday, or like, no, Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. I went to the St. Louis Zoo and spent like a day with penguins, right? They came out to you. Like you were sitting on the floor and you couldn't touch them, which is
nice.
I get it.
Do you have any pictures?
Oh yeah, I got a ton of them. I'll share.
I'd love to see Sam with a bunch of
penguins. So awesome, dude. I mean, like, and I love penguins to the point where like it's almost like weird. But
he dressed as penguin as well.
Oh, you read my mind. You took my joke. I was just about to go down that way.
But great minds, Darren.
But the excitement and the joy and the like the care of like those like the fact that I don't think an AI can fully replicate it. Maybe it can kind of get close, but I think that's what's going to be the problem with it, right? It's the things that make, like when you hear a song and it brings you back to high school or college or an ex-girlfriend or a good time or a bad time. Like I don't think AI can replicate it. All the synapses in the brain, it can't be mapped that way. At least not now. Maybe in 100 years, maybe they can be. I don't know. And then we have a whole different discussion to happen, right?
Yeah. Jason, what about you? If you had to put it in minutes or hours or years,
I'm going to put it in 10 3.5 inch disc drives.
Floppies?
Floppies.
Disc?
Yeah.
Insert one of 7,000.
Right. Jason.exe, and then once it prompts you put the next stick. Yeah.
Well, so the reason I bring this up is because some research from Stanford University using Google DeepMind, they claim that they can capture your values and preferences. Now, I don't know what the ambiguous term is there, values and preferences, but in 2 hours is what they're saying. Now, basically, they use Google's DeepMind AI, and basically they're saying that they did a test on 1,000 people, age, gender, race, religion, education, political ideology. You were paid $100 for your participation.
No, up to $100. You could have got $12.
Sorry, thank you.
How big your personality is.
Right. You suck. You get $8.
So basically they're saying here, and I'll just kind of highlight it, that this Google DeepMind was able to get there basically after a series of personality tests, social surveys, logic games, that they could get about an 85% similar version of you into an AI model. So basically, now, I mean, and I guess this is kind of a crazy thought, but let's say that you did have an AI robot assistant. Would you not want it to be similar to you, so it knew your preferences, it knew your likes, it knew your dislikes, it knew who your family and friends were? Like, I can kind of see why they would be testing this theory, right, about how these simulation agents could work in the real world. See, in my mind, what I always think of when I read this is, can they make a version of me and can it go to work on my behalf, right? Like that, we always want that split, someone to go to work for you so you can stay home and relax. 2 hours. That's pretty good. Like 85% accuracy rate, which is decent. Now the question is, Jason, I'll start with you. Would you want a little mini Jason rolling around? Like I'd probably imagine him to look like mini me if it was a little robot.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants 2 of me around. No one, not even my wife. I think that'd be kind of weird. I mean, I understand the premise where, hey, it can help me, but I don't know a lot of people. I mean, besides monotonous like jobs that aren't easy but are predictable, I could see this working. But like with jobs like I don't know, there's a lot of jobs out there that aren't cut and dry, not black and white. They're more gray area. So I don't know how great that would be. But yeah, I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't mind an AI assistant, but I also rather learn me on my own instead of having me sit into a room for 2 hours and fill out a bunch of tests to see what it is. I mean, it's kind of like dating somebody. You know, you meet somebody, you kind of get to know them. You know.
So let me get this right. You don't want to do the work, the 2 hour, the surveys and stuff,
right?
In order to figure this out. Fair. That makes sense. Joe, would you want a little mini me rolling around?
No, because it'll probably be a better version of me, and it'll take my wife, take my job, and then I'll be left with nothing.
Fair point.
Biggest fear.
Biggest fear is there. What about you, Sam? Someone to do all your busy work?
Well, I guess the question I have is it helping you so it wants to be closer to what you would want, or is it like so you can send us to do monotonous like I don't I guess I don't know what it's trying to do. I was like, is it just going to be is it a home assistant where it goes, hey, I know that you like to do this right this time of day, right?
Upgraded Google Assistant.
I don't want it to go to work for me because it's why? I mean, but if around the house, if it kind of knew what your preferences were, but I don't want it to be exactly like me because that's
take away your individuality.
It's kind of boring, right? If everybody just agrees with everything, and the robot just says, "Yeah, I agree with everything you say," and I say the same things you would say, I'm like, "Well, this is not a fun conversation because I already know how I would You know what I mean? I guess if it's helping around the house, maybe that's effective because that way it would know what I'd like to do.
Yeah. You know what'll happen though?
To replace me going to work? I don't think so.
You know what'll happen, right? Sam finally adjusts with the new Sam in his life, gets it all good, and then Airbite comes along and goes, "Come home with me."
Right.
Yeah.
It just messes it all up.
And it's like, I'm alone again. Like,
you're gonna take the digital version of yourself away, right?
Right. It's like peels off.
You go to the zoo to see the penguins, and you see him there.
It's like,
right? It beat me to the punch. Yeah. Honestly, I think Joe hit the nail on the head. I'd be worried that it would be better than me. So, like, let's say it's a humanoid robot.
Have some confidence. Nothing's better than you, right? That's what you're supposed to say.
That's what I'm hoping. But I mean, listen. I mean, a humanoid robot that looks, thinks, feels like the same way I do. All of a sudden, let's think about a distant future where it moves like you. It does that kind of stuff. Shit, I don't know. Like, I'd be worried. Joe's right. It might take your entire life.
Well, and you think about that. We read an article, 3 or 4 episodes ago, where women are going to start having sex with robots. So
now, is it cheating if it's a digital version of you?
It's cheating.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Robot penis. I know.
I had nothing to do with
robot
that.
Penis.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, Joe, let me ask you this question. Now, if you did have a robot made after you and you knew it was going to have your personality and you had a say in the design of the robot, would you want it to be better than you, or would you want it to be like the slightly more overweight, less hair, bit of back hair, some stinky feet, that kind of stuff? Would you want that?
Hair.
Yeah, I'll definitely make it fat.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't want an uglier version. I don't want it to be the exact same way because then, then there's temptation, right?
I wouldn't want it to look too human. I'd want it to look like a robot.
Okay, fair. Right. Maybe it'll be like the Apple Vision Pro, where it's just your weird ass animated face on the outside.
Yeah.
Right. The rest is robotic. That it's just a stupid humanoid face on the inside.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about AI. And now we actually have to take a moment of silence here. Because the OG creator of folding phones has officially packed it in. They are no longer in existence. I know Jason's crying. He can't handle it right now.
Is that Royale? What are they called?
Yes. So, the very first foldable phone maker, the Royal FlexPi, has declared bankruptcy. Bankruptcy. They're out of business. They're no longer going to be making folding phones. Now, I think we should all take a moment, right? Largely speaking, without the Royal FlexPi, we may not have folding phones in the world.
You said they declared bankruptcy, and this is kind of an offshoot, and my head's all over the place, but if you ever watch the American version of The Office, when Michael has to declare bankruptcy, he doesn't understand. He just runs into a room and says, I declare bankruptcy. He thought that's all you had to do. So maybe what they did was they walked into a room and just said, I declare bankruptcy, and not really knowing what they were doing.
Possibly. I mean, look, this is an interesting... So let me tell you why this is interesting to me. So, okay, Royal FlexPi, they were the first ones that I think pushed Samsung to kind of develop and release their own foldable, because I think they came before them.
They did, but I think it's about the same. I think FlexPi kind of pushed them to get the ball rolling, get out the door.
100%. Yeah, this was a proof of concept device, and then it did come out. It was sold in the market, but didn't do very well. But what's interesting about this is an article that was also come out this week about a lot of these folding phone companies potentially looking to pack it in. Mm-hmm. So Oppo, OnePlus, and there was another company, I can't remember off the top of my head. They're all coming out and saying there's rumors, or people are suspecting that we may not be getting a sequel or successor, if you will, to some of their most popular folding phones.
What's interesting, so, if this is true, we all love the OnePlus Open. Well, I shouldn't say we all did. The tech community found it very. But when I had it and I took it to work, they're like, "Who the hell is OnePlus?" It goes back to that. Even though there's a market for Samsung to do it, the smaller companies, no one knows them, so they're not making money off this.
Well, I mean, look at Oppo, the Find N3, which was OnePlus's carbon copy, if you will, on the OnePlus Open. They've come out and said they've already delayed it. Like there won't be an N4. Now, OnePlus is already talking about potentially delaying the release of the OnePlus Open 2. They haven't said it's dead completely, but there are rumors out there that it may not happen either. So here is the question. Is this the beginning of the end for some foldables in the space? Jason's muted, so I can't know what he's figuring out. He's just nodding his head.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, sorry. I think companies are just going to... that aren't making money are going to back out. It's the Technos, the Honors. I'm not saying Honor is small. Here in the U.S., it's small, but Samsung. And it's funny, what company has kind of not talked about a foldable?
Apple. Yeah.
And I guarantee if Apple had a foldable, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
This conversation, 100%. Agreed.
Out of interest, how have the foldables been doing in China? Because a lot of these are Chinese brands, right? So if they're failing in China, that's going to make them drop it.
Let me do some research.
Well, that's true. I wonder if this is just dropping in the global market, not the Western market. The Chinese market. That's true. Because here in the U.S., I like foldables, but I'm not sold on them yet. They're still that.
So
I don't know.
I'll just give you some quick thing here. So in the first quarter of 2024, foldable smartphones sell through in China increased by 48%.
Holy,
that's significant.
Yeah. So year over year, that's a massive growth. Now, apparently, some of the factors or the reasons is both hardware and software improvements, lower prices, and then also book type foldables are apparently more popular than the flip top type foldables.
Which I can see that. That makes more sense.
I prefer them.
Yeah, which I get. And interesting, right?
Sell that to an Apple market, and I think your flippables are going to way outsell.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah. Foldables in general would do better if Apple.
Well, and flippables, and I hate to be a gender person, but women seem to prefer the flippables.
Yes,
and I think at the end of the day, if Apple is in this space, which they may not, I don't think they're going to make a foldable just because they don't want to cannibalize iPad sales. But I think a flippable, especially for women who use iPhones, an iFlip.
Yeah,
I think that could move the needle a little bit, at least for the female segment of iPhone users.
like you said, Apple doesn't want to cannibalize their iPad, especially the iPad Mini. Mm-hmm. But on the Android side, there isn't really. Yes, the Samsung makes good devices, so does the Lenovo, but
the tablet market on Android is fail.
So they can market these flippables and foldables. I should say the foldables more on the Android side because they don't have that cannibalistic iPad competitor out there right now. Yeah. At least in my opinion, they don't.
I think that there's a market for this, but I mean, honestly, I didn't know if I told you guys. Joe knows, but I got rid of my Z Fold 5 for just a slab phone, and only because on AT&T,
what is that?
That's the Pixel 9 Pro.
Pixel.
All right.
Yeah.
And only because if AT&T would have offered the 9 Pro Flip or the Fold, I would have got that, but they don't offer it there, so I had to go back to a Pixel. So I miss my flippable, but our foldables, but we'll see.
Well, Darren went back to a foldable.
Yeah, he got the Pixel, and I love the guy says Pixel for life. How are you gonna? Is that your favorite? And I don't mean hijack that. Like I said, is the Pixel your favorite device, software and hardware comprehensively?
So So I've reviewed a lot of phones this year, and I just recently had the Honor Magic V3. Joe knows about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If the Honor Magic V3's software was better, I would have used that phone for the entire of 2025. Right. The hardware is absolutely spectacular on that phone, but the software was just frustrating. Frustrating. I want to love it. I really do, but there's just so many things about it that it just make it harder to use. And then I had the opportunity to get the Pixel 9 Pro Fold because of Black Friday. It was cheaper here in Canada.
It was $4,000 instead of $8,000.
Yeah, right. It was $3,000 instead of $4,800. Right.
But I had the opportunity to get it, and I had last year's the original OG Pixel Fold, and I loved it. And so far, I've had this one for 24 or 48 hours. I love it just as much. I'm finding more and more use cases for a folding phone. For me personally, I don't use an iPad. I don't have a tablet. Yeah, so having the ability to have that extra real estate when I need it, and this was the same with the Honor Magic V3. I didn't use it all the time, but when I'm sitting at Monday nights when I'm waiting for my son to get out of his baseball training, and I'm sitting in the car and I'm watching YouTube and I'm watching Netflix, it pays off. It's worth it then to me. But I am a Google Pixel person and have been since the original Google Pixel, and I've had every version of it since.
Well, the other issue is we live in North America. We only have access to so many, and when we do import them, there's so many other issues. Even if they're global, there's still some issues like software mainly. That's why Samsung, whether you like them or not, the software's been baked out. It's on their 6th generation. It works good. Google went they turned it up from 1 to 11 with the 9 Pro Fold, and who knows what the next one's going to be like.
And Darren makes a great point, and I want to ask a follow-up question. So I apologize. I don't feel like I'm hijacking.
No, go. Yeah.
So are you using your foldable as a multimedia larger screen, or are you really multitasking on the device? And I'll tell you, I know that's why it was able to walk away from the Fold 5 and get the Pixel, because I realized when I wasn't using a Duo, that forced you into a multitasking posture, right? So all I was using it was for is just basically a larger canvas to see stuff. That's what it was. I wasn't multitasking as much as I was on my Duo.
Well, Sam, you could probably attest to this, and like I can, as I get older and my eyes get crappier, having a bigger screen is reasonable. Yeah. So, but to be honest with you, for me, it was probably more of a 60-40 split. So I was using 60% for multimedia and about 40% for productivity. Okay. Especially at work, when I'm at work, having email open on one side and whatever I'm engaging with on the other side, that's really, really helpful to me. Can you do it on a slab phone? Absolutely. Sure. Is it faster? Yes and no. It depends on the situation. But I said to Jason, and I messaged him this yesterday, the day before, I'd be curious to see if I could rock it for an entire year and just see how it turns out.
See, that's my biggest fear with foldables. The screen is bending. I know technology is getting better, but that screen is going to break at some point. It's going to have to.
Well, again, I had a Z Fold 5 and a Moto Razr, right? And use it for over a year. Not a failure.
Yeah. So and that's the thing. I mean, I had a failure on the Honor Magic V3 review unit they sent me. Literally in the first week, the inner screen started delaminating.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
So
that's right. Yeah.
They had to replace it, and they were not the most fun to deal with. The people over there, but I won't go into that now. But
I'll be honest, foldables are great, but they're getting kind of stagnant too. There's only so much you can do with a phone. Like I've been sending Darren stuff for the show, and I'm more about mobile phone guy. I like to talk about new phones and like. I don't know, like you're talking about the ROG Phone 9, the gaming phones, which are kind of boring, but it's something different. You know, you got what's that, Nubia Red Magic, been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
What's interesting is the phone I've been looking at, I was looking at that Red Magic 10 Pro or whatever. Yeah. Biggest issue with those is software and cameras. But now, the same company that makes that phone, Nubia, makes their Ultra 70 that's coming out, I think, next week. And it's supposed to be a camera killer, but you're worried about those software updates.
But
so I mean, foldables.
But I'm saying for North America, they don't know that Nubia and gaming phones exist.
Right. Even though they're offered here, yes,
it's such a niche market. I think I made this comment earlier. The fact that with the 9 series of Pixels, the fact that they're able to kind of start to kind of get
converge,
some traction, dude. Yeah. I'm like, and then on top of it, and Darren, this is, I know you're such a, you're so good about checking. Like, did you see that the DOJ is telling that the Google Alphabet, like, you have to divest Chrome,
split it up.
You can't, right? So now, and then on top of that, you have to lose Chrome, but you cannot enter the browser market for 5 years.
Yeah, so, which is crazy to me.
Well, here's the thing.
Don't even get me started on that.
Well, and it's funny. I think it's interesting that when the U.S. DOJ moves, everybody's pissed off. But when the European Union decides to
everyone's like, "Oh shit!
Oh yeah, finally!" But
but I think putting a Type-C charging port on an Apple is different than taking Chrome away from Google, who they created it themselves or bought it, whatever. But they own it. Right. It's a different.
I made a comment that I think that the Chrome monopoly is not because of Chrome monopolizing the browser market. It's because people don't understand that they have choices in the browser market. Right?
Yes,
it's kind of like it's a monopoly of stupidity.
It's the Internet Explorer of our generation.
Right.
Well, it's also you're familiar with it.
You've got Firefox, you've got Chrome, you've got Edge, and the problem is it's Chrome becomes the default, and like I said, I just don't think I find it interesting that how the United States handles regulation and how people get pissed off Americans wise, but then the European Union does it like Americans like, well.
So here's the thing, Sam. Like right now, I know Firefox just laid off like 20% of its workforce.
Ouch.
Right.
Because I think they're feeling the pressure of Chrome being the default for every Android operating system.
Along with Sam, Chrome is so common that, like, on my work computer, we have to use both Edge and Chrome because part of our system works better on Edge.
Firefox, Chrome, and Edge just because we test across all browsers for IT.
Yeah.
But like I said, people are so familiar. It's like Apple. In the U.S., so many people own an iPhone that when they grab an Android device that's just as capable, they're like, oh, I don't understand. And Edge, to me, I don't like Edge because I'm not used to it. Doesn't mean it's a bad product. It's like MacBooks. I don't like Mac OS just because I don't use it enough. If I used it more, I may like it more. That's the thing. It's stupidity. It's on my part and everyone else's part.
I would say that maybe the early days of when Edge was HTML5, Chrome, the Edge, not very great. It's a Chromium-based browser now, and I think if you give Edge a chance, I'm not trying to like.
No, Edge is a great browser. I agree.
I think Edge has made some strides, but with extensions, right? Again, but I think that the problem is the DOJ focused on Chrome. They act like it's like a monopoly, but it's really because you guys don't know that other browsers exist: a Firefox, an Opera, an Edge. And you haven't, like, everybody just knows Chrome. Like, it's built into Android. It's built into Chromebooks. It's available. But Chrome sucks. It's too resource intensive.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever listened to a government, at least the U.S. government, when they're interrogating, like, Meta or Apple? The people are, like, so stupid. Like, I shouldn't say they're stupid. Let me rephrase that because I might be listening. Incompetent. No. They ask the stupidest questions. It's like you don't even know what you're asking, and you're asking questions.
Well, and here's the thing: ask any person you know that's over 60 about browsers, about browser architecture, about what they have no clue. And the problem is the people on the Hill, right? Most of them are over 60, right? And so they don't know. It's just like, again, I find it to be interesting how in the United States we're really big on we anytime there's regulation we kind of balk against it because we assume it's nefarious. But when the EU does it, it's like, oh okay, well then
let's pay attention now.
Well, that makes it good. So now USB-C is now on iPhone 16. Okay, cool. That's what they should have been. Like, I think it's an approach. It's interesting.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens if this does go through and they do have to cut off Chrome. Will this really affect Alphabet and Google financially in a big way, or do you think it's just going to be something that I think it's going to affect them big time?
They can't. First of all, they have to divest Chrome, right? Yep. And then they can't re-enter the market of browsers for 5 years.
Yeah,
and in a technological space, that's an eternity.
Yeah,
could they just take about 10 of their top people in Chrome and make their own company that's separate, that's not associated with them at all?
No.
And then and 5 years later, just bring them on back.
Yeah.
How does that affect Chromebooks?
Well, it doesn't matter. Chrome's going Android. That's why. Chromebooks are going Android now. If you hear, there's an article I think I sent Darren. They're actually migrating Chrome and Android together in some kind of way.
Chromebooks always been in this weird,
browser, like limbo space
kind of space. They really never had an identity, and I think this. Yeah. And I guess the silver lining is maybe it forces Chromebooks to have their own identity, where Chrome OS and Chrome the browser, are forcibly split, and so they have to. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a Chrome. I have had Chromebooks, and they're really solid.
I like Chromebooks. I mean, not for everything, but
no. So I
wouldn't use it for gaming.
I guess that's really. I'm just surprised the DOJ decided to get involved and really throw the hammer at Chrome. That really is kind of interesting.
Well, here's the question: Is it founded? Should the DOJ be telling Google to do this? Is it? And I'm not saying it's going to make a difference, but I don't think they should. But that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, remember in the United States, you have you have an incoming DOJ.
Right, exactly.
And
so this could change pretty quickly.
Right, and maybe they aren't in the same boat, right? You have a Biden DOJ and you have a Trump DOJ, right? That's a different. You have a Trump FCC, you have a Trump FTC, you have
Elon Musk will be in there somewhere too.
Well, again, like I said,
I'm just messing.
In the United States, the problem is, and maybe not in the UK and maybe in other countries, but there is a complete utter shift in ideological, technological approaches, right? And that's the problem. Is it could change every 4 or 8 years. And so I don't know what a Trump DOJ is going to look like when it comes to.
Well, when I think of technology, the first person I think of is Donald Trump. I mean, he's definitely
frankly.
Yeah, I think wasn't he using a BlackBerry up until like a few years ago?
So was Obama. He loved his BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Now, what can I ask you guys about smartwatches for a second? Because I found that story here, Sam, and I think this product is made.
I know exactly which one you're going to talk about now.
Oh God! Why does he say Sam?
Okay. Sam, what if I told you that a brand new smartwatch that's coming out very soon can be self-repaired with just a Phillips head screwdriver?
Yeah, like 2 screws.
2 screws.
I like screws.
So
that was the point.
All right,
like
here is
easily disassembled.
It's like Anchorman. I love lamp.
I love lamp. Right. The Spectra isn't okay. All right, so
the Procuda Spectra is designed to be hackable and easy to repair. So basically, so easy that it's literally 2 Phillips head screws, and kind of like what do you call it? Where there's like bits and pieces you can swap in and out. Modular. Thank you. Yeah. So this modular. It
doesn't look that bad. It looks like a Gen 1 Samsung Gear Watch. I mean,
that's what I mean. It looks dated.
This is now what slightly concerns me is that this is their 7th Kickstarter campaign. I don't know if they're failed ones. But basically, they've been developing this for 3 years. It is a prototype watch, and the whole idea is that it's meant to be modular. So you can see here in this image up on screen, you kind of get all the pieces that you need to kind of put it together.
And that's probably why it looks ugly, because it's got to be put together and taken apart pretty easily.
When you get the watch shipped, you have to assemble the watch.
It's like a Lego kit.
Is that what it is?
No, I think that's just a picture of looking at what it looks like.
Okay, I'm just asking. I don't know.
Does it have IP rating?
So I was just looking at that. So basically, here's what we know. So AMOLED display, digital crown, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, fitness tracking, environmental sensors, micro SD slot.
For what?
I know, right?
Is there a camera on it?
I have no idea.
Music, maybe?
Yeah. 8 gigs of RAM. Sorry.
8 gigs of RAM?
8 megabytes of RAM, 32 megabytes of executable flash memory. I don't know what that means. Now, apparently, the battery is kind of the big play here. So basically, you can replace the battery and some of the bits and pieces that are within. So think, if you know the company Fairphone, so they did something like this.
Yeah, Fairphone.
Yeah. And the whole idea here is that, smartwatches can be really expensive. And they're basically saying that this is it's going to be running its own Spectra OS, which is based on JavaScript. There's a secure application for sandboxing for Linux, Mac OS.
But it's going to be a simple watch, like Sam, like you talked about, just a simple fitness tracker. You don't have to have that heavy OS like Apple or Wear that tears your battery down. It'll last a week or two probably on battery, and if it doesn't last, you can replace the battery if it goes bad.
Listen, I've already turned off. There are 7 screws, not 2. I'm out. That's too many. I'll lose
7
one of those.
screws.
Well, Sam loves screws, so he's good.
That's true.
I love screwing.
Love screws.
No, I
7
you should be their
screws in one
spokesman.
night?
You should be their spokesman, Sam. I love screws.
Frankly, your screws. I know the best screws. Okay. No, I don't know. I mean, so what's the price at the end of this?
So here's the thing. The price was not that bad. It's $209 right now.
That's too much.
Which is
it's like $12.
$209.
You just know you're going to drop a screw as well. You unscrew one of them, you'll drop it. And you ain't finding that screw.
The problem I have with this is we haven't really got a modular phone to work.
Right.
Much less a modular smartwatch. I don't know if you want to get that crazy with it. I do like the replaceable battery. That's
a nice idea.
Pretty slick.
Yeah, but $200 for a watch that's unproven, a company that has had 8 Kickstarter campaigns, and a watch that can be put together, which is great, but an OS that who knows is going to be supported.
That's
what
it's
going to do for you, how accurate it's going to be. I don't know. If it was like $100, maybe.
It's definitely
if this was a $200 Wear OS watch that was modular, that would be interesting to me. That I'd be curious to see how that played out. I mean, I'm not imagining this to be the highest, build quality, but if it could be repaired, it's kind of a cool concept. I kind of dig it.
This goes back to the Google selling Chrome. Here's what Google should do: keep Chrome, sell Wear OS.
Yes.
Well, they're not asked to, if they're going to sell Chrome. They have to sell Chrome, right? I guess my question, my thing would be, why do companies like the Samsungs, right, and the Googles make a regular watch, right, and then make a fitness tracker? Can you imagine a Google Band?
Samsung just made one.
Yeah,
not sold here in the U.S.
They used to. They used to have an active. They had
They have the Active 3, but it was only sold overseas.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But in the United States, there are some people like me that I have. I have my watch, but I also have my,
which he loves. He loves that.
Sam, you know why? Because the Apple Watch, it runs the U.S. There's no Samsung's probably barely even hitting top 30 smartwatches. I'm sure the Apple Watch from the first to the now is still the top 10.
I mean, and I think everyone on this panel would agree that the Apple Watch is literally the gold standard for wearables, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
But I'm saying though, for folks who are more price conscious that don't need all the smartwatch features, if Apple were to make like an iBand, like just a band
Yeah.
I really think that they could, but I honestly think that for people like Apple people, they're okay with just having the iWatch or the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care. They don't care that it's like a stripped down version, right? It
Fitbit
works.
made one just recently, but I don't think Fitbit's going to make it much longer either. Now that
Yeah,
Google
I would be surprised if Fitbit lasts a year.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, by January, I'd be surprised if they're still
Right.
around.
Right.
I think Google's trying to trim branches
Phase
right
it
now,
out,
and
yeah.
and I think too, like with all the shit that's going on with the EU and all that, they're trying to like,
it's just funny. Google finally hits its stride with phones.
Yeah,
and they get slapped with the Chrome. It just seems like it's not just them. Apple got slapped by the EU how many times as well?
Well, so did Microsoft. They got nailed on Internet Explorer, right? I mean, it's not the first time that a company got hammered on it. Yeah.
Just going back to that watch, that it could come in that we have to, in the EU at least, have changeable batteries.
Yes, repairability. Phones. Yeah.
That'll be interesting if that does happen.
Yeah, because
I do find a switchable battery and expandable storage to be interesting on a wearable. Definitely more a battery than the storage. But can you imagine the argument we always make?
Yeah.
What's when you switch the battery? What's the charge rate?
Yeah.
Immediate, right? That's why you like having a spare battery. Can you imagine having 2 spare batteries in your backpack? You know, and you're out taking photos, and you can just swap the battery, turn the phone off, switch the battery, and you're at 100%. And you can bring those to. I still think
I love how technology's going. Like we've gone fucking full circle. Right. So first it was removable batteries and SD cards. Then we got rid of them, and now we're going back to it because people enjoyed it, right? Like enough pressure from people can make shit change, right? Like and make those changes happen. I mean, like the last phone I had that had a removable battery was the LG V20, which was that beautiful, massive screen, had the little scroll bar thing at the top. That was what, 2008 maybe?
Yeah. I thought I know it's all business, but I thought the idea of sealing it was because waterproofing, dustproofing was better that way. But I guess if your consumers aren't asking for that, then what does it matter? Or have one of each.
Who's dropping their phone in the water?
Like, I know, yeah.
I understand.
Well, usually when I walk in the rain, I purposely drop my phone in puddles just because I can't.
I mean, I live in the UK. It rains a lot, and that aside, my missus dropped her phone in the toilet the other day.
Oh, no.
I don't want to know any details, but okay.
Just flash that fucking thing. I wouldn't even
bother.
bother.
It came out fine, but these things happen.
Right.
Yes.
I get you.
You're using that phone now, aren't you, Joe?
Yes. Yeah.
You got relegated.
It was a number 2 as well.
Oh, no.
It wasn't.
Oh, no.
Jesus. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, and my wife knows this. I tell her all the time, I'm like, you drop your fucking phone in the toilet, I'm flushing it. I'm not going in to get it. I'm just going in the surgery.
That's going to cause you more. That's going to cause you more problems in the plumbing. I'll be honest with you. I've never dropped my phone in a toilet ever in my life.
No, me either. Touch wood.
What was she doing? Taking a picture of her piss or something? I don't know.
I dropped one phone in my entire life, and I had it on when the holsters were cool on your belt. And I had a baby in a carriage. Yeah, they were. And I jumped. I'm in law enforcement, so I got to have things in places that need to be. Well, I was jumping off a step, and it fell. It was the HTZ Resound. I don't remember what that is. And it fell face first, and the screen cracked. So I had it replaced, and ever since the glue wasn't right, so it always popped up in the corner. It pissed me off.
Yeah.
That's the only phone I ever dropped. I never dropped one again.
Fair. Okay, so moving on from that was a good story. Thanks, Jason. Let's move on to wearables for a second. So speaking of wearables, so I know, Jason, you have the Ray-Ban Metas on your head right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a quick question. I'm assuming they play music, if I got that right?
Yes.
There's
speakers like right above your ear.
Yeah. Now, are you going to be going to those when you want to listen to your favorite music?
It's interesting you ask me that, because when I walk or run, I put earbuds in. I don't wear glasses when I run because it's terrible. But when I walk my dog, I'm walking for 45 minutes. These are convenient. They're already got my prescriptions in them. Yeah. Is the bass great? No. But what's interesting, I noticed, is that the other day it was really windy out, and it was actually blowing the air or the sound into my ears, and it was actually louder. And then when the wind stopped, it was quieter. But when I wear like a beanie in the winter, they sound fine. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I prefer earbuds, but they're convenient.
The other thing, Jason, is we've taken a phone call on them. It's really, really good.
Yeah. Honestly, people say it sounds really good. Yeah.
So the reason I bring it up is because they're talking about bringing MEMS drivers to these wearables. So ultrasonic drivers, for those of you who don't know, basically full range, all silicon, massive active noise cancellation. So the XMEMS Cypress driver is being used in a lot of these wearables, especially smart glasses, for most of 2025. So they've signed a deal with some of these big manufacturers to bring this technology and sound increase or improvement across the board. So basically, this new chip can match the mid-bass performance of current drivers, pushing 11 dB more of sub-bass.
Yeah, but here's the problem. It's open air. You're not going to get the bass. You're not going to hear it. It's going to sound better, but like without having something like over your ear or in your ear canal, there's going to be no bass. You can pump as much bass as you want. It's going to be lost to the air.
I think more. So this. I mean, because it's ultrasonic, right? So it's ultrasonic sound waves, and basically they're saying here that it won't just make it necessarily louder or like better quality, but it'll just make the music a little bit more immersive because of the active noise cancellation as well. So when you are walking on a windy day, there'll be less, I guess, environmental impact on the quality of the sound. Now, I actually have a pair of earphones coming this week that have the XMES Cypress driver in them, which I'm curious to see how they work as a pair of earphones. But it's an interesting proposition because part of the reason for me, like I've been looking at the Ray-Ban Metas, and I might buy a pair before Christmas is done, or maybe as a Christmas gift to myself. But part of it for me is I don't like to wear over the ear earphones. Like right now I'm wearing them because I'm doing a podcast. It's easier for me here. But in-ear earphones, they're okay. But if I could blend them all into one seamless device, I think that's the kind of endpoint, right? That's the goal. Yeah. I know I have a pair of those Legion Go VR glasses that you plug into your phone and it makes it look like you have a big screen. The sound on those is okay, but it's very tinny, right? It sounds like you're listening through really shitty earphones. So Jason, would you want to see this come to wearables?
Oh yeah, I would love to have an increase in better sound no matter what. What's surprising is if like in my office right now, these are turned off. I have them turned off because what freaks me out is I have it set up like AI, the Meta AI is terrible, like the voice, but I found out you can change the sound. So now I have John Cena as my AI person. So I have John Cena telling me everything, like the weather and jokes. It's hilarious, but it's surprisingly loud. So I'll be sitting and talking to somebody, and it'll say "message from," and it'll tell you the name, and it starts reading it, and it's like right in your ear. So it's actually pretty good. But anything that makes the sound better, I'm down for. I love good sound, but I'm like you. I don't like over-the-air headphones ever. Usually, I usually use earbuds. But they're nice. They definitely don't sound as good as most earbuds, but those are closed, into your ear, so they sound better.
Joe, do you have a pair of Meta glasses?
Yeah, I love them. Absolutely love them. It's one of them products that before I had it, I would have said, no, I'm not interested. But I use them every day in the summer. Because they're my sunglasses.
Do you have the sunglasses or the prescription lenses?
They're my sunglasses as well.
The best thing about them is the cameras. You can just snap. It's like that's why I miss Google Glass so much, because I could wink my eye and take a picture of my kids. Anytime I wanted. This one's a little more in that you got to tap the button or say, "Hey, Meta, take a picture." But it's video quality is good. As well. What was that?
They've changed the record time now, so you can record for longer.
Up to 3 minutes. I haven't set to 60 minutes because I don't think anything I do in my glass would be more than a minute long.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I know right now you probably saw our thumbnail, and there's lots of Black Friday deals happening. And over on The Verge, they've compiled, I actually think, probably one of the greatest Black Friday spec sheets or list sheets of what you can find.
Spec sheet, that's good. I like that.
Spec sheet, yeah. I'll post this up on the chat right now for those of you who are watching this a little later on, the link. But head over to The Verge, and The Verge has got basically how they've done it. They've just kind of listed it by Apple deals, and then they go into like the best speaker and headphones, and there are some really, really good deals.
And
that are happening.
Darren bought 4 of the Samsung frames because those frame speakers are the best,
Absolutely, yes. And they've got them all here, and they're talking about how much they're off, where you can buy them.
One of them robot Hoovers.
Oh yes, the vacuums right here.
Vacuums,
the
yeah.
I think the robot Hoovers. I don't think Hoover makes a robot, do they?
Yeah,
I don't think Hoover's even a thing anymore, but that's okay.
I'm sure they are. But
the iRobot Roomba J7
$1,200 fucking dollars for
no, but the one below it, Sam, that's a good deal, man. That's 50.
That's what I have.
Off.
I have the J7 Plus. I'll be honest, I did a beta test for this company a couple years ago, and they gave me that J9 Plus. That thing is effing amazing. It never got stopped. It never got stuck. It never caught on anything. That J7 Plus, Jesus Christ! Every other day,
I'm mop as well, can't you?
Yeah. I got a problem with the Roombas. I can't order them because I've got these. See these?
I have a dog. Yeah. My dog only barks because the J7 Plus does itself empties and it's real loud. It sounds like a jet engine. And I'm not home when it's vacuuming. I watched the video. And my dog paws at it and barks at it, but that's the only thing it barks at, not the actual robot itself.
I can't take a step ladder out of my closet without these two idiots. They're not barking; they're attacking it. So
that's hilarious.
There's no way. We had a Roomba.
I will be honest.
Pieces. They'll kill it.
We still vacuum. It does a good job, but with a dog that sheds, we still got to vacuum with a regular vacuum. So.
Right. Yeah. I have hardwood floors on the main level, which is where this thing would go, and I just mop and vacuum it. I don't need.
So what you're saying is for $1,200, you're going to buy 3 of them this Christmas,
right? Well, the one was $300. I'm just old school.
I'll be honest with you. I have the Roborock. I have the Q5 Pro, the one that's on screen there. But I have a bunch of Roborock runs around my home, and they're amazing. Those self-empty. They mop. They clean themselves after they mop. And then they're ready to go again. The only thing you got to do is just change the water occasionally or fill it up again. And that's $100
robot for that.
Yeah,
that's it, right? Yeah,
for $140, that's not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal. Yeah.
That's the one I'm interested in. One that mops as well.
Yeah.
The Q5.
Most of my house is carpet. I have a little bit of hardwood floor in my house, so I need one that actually can just. I don't care about mopping. Who mops?
Sure. I know, right? Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, anyway, take a look at the link we posted up in the chat there if you want to check out some of the best Black Friday deals. And Black Friday's coming up this Friday, I believe, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of these companies have already started 2 weeks ago.
Don't forget Cyber Monday.
Because of all these these ranges, Black Friday is it's literally the day after Thanksgiving. It's the Friday after the 4th Thursday in the month of November.
Yeah.
It's the same goddamn day it's always been. It's but now it's we started Black Friday in October.
Well, Walmart did something from the 11th to the 16th.
Dude, it's stupid.
And then Amazon does something this week. It's that's how I got my new TV.
You go into a store and it's Christmas season. It's it's not even. It's the middle of October. You're not even at Halloween.
Yeah.
They're having Christmas trees. I'm it's not even Halloween.
I know.
Holy crap!
I did pick up though on Amazon. Speaking of Amazon, I picked up a Wi-Fi 7 router, TP-Link Wi-Fi 7 router.
Mesh.
So I have a $100 gift card. It cost me $200.
No, not Canadian though.
$200 Canadian.
Okay. Canadian. So it'd be $50 for us. I'm getting on there.
Right.
That's a great deal if you're looking for a Wi-Fi 7 mesh router.
I'll be honest with you. I have a Wi-Fi TP-Link. I did 6E. And after 6 months, it just kept crashing. I called the company, here's a firmware update. Never fixed it. I bought the Wise 6E mesh. Yeah. Never had a problem.
Never had a problem. Fair.
Talking of Black Friday deals, extremeskins.co.uk.
Oh,
yes.
Their Black Friday deals are live, and they're pretty good. Check them out.
Get you one, so that way you can get you. You can skin your
shit.
Skin your shit.
Skin your shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, guys, that brings us to the end of today's show, and I love this. We did a great job. We blended the Nomad Tech Project and the Tech Disruptors into one amazing podcast. And if you are listening to this, after the fact, go and check out the Nomad Tech Project on YouTube. They're an amazing bunch of guys. Joe and Sam do a great job. And they have a different kind of format, interviewing different creators and, getting to the bottom and seeing what makes them tick. And we appreciate you guys joining us here today.
Oh, thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it. We always love coming on with you guys. It's always.
I'm not really Joe. I'm a robot.
Right. Joe's AI.
What was that?
Joe went bed ages ago.
Yeah. Me, I don't have enough money for AI, so they're like, you're just going to get a human Sam.
So what we'll do, guys.
So does your wife like you or the one sleeping?
She
prefers the robot, but the robot's here. She
likes Joe. She likes Joe. Yeah, she loves Joe. And Joe's a good dude.
And let us know. We will return the favor. We will come on your show if you need.
Absolutely.
Guess you let us know. We'll be there for sure.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Thank you, Jason.
We spoke about it, haven't we?
Always.
I know. Yeah. We've talked about it. We just never made it happen yet. But we'll do it happen. This was good. I like this. This was fun.
Absolutely.
So listen. Thank you very much, everybody that's listening. If you're checking us out on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. You can also check us out on Apple Music, Spotify, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, everywhere you find amazing podcasts. And we will be back again.